What's up, nerds? We're your hosts. I'm Chad.
And I am Jake.
This week, we are continuing our sponsorship and collaboration with Nordic Brew Pub.
We are also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce.
We'll be talking about the latest episode of Ahsoka, now streaming on Disney+.
We're also going to wrap up our conversation on the live-action version of One Piece, now streaming on Netflix. So, let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd Podcast. Tink.
Nerd. Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd Podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Jake, how was your week?
My week has been pretty wild because as of... That didn't sound too weird, right?
No, that's
So I was adjusting my microphone. I'm a dad now.
Daddy's home.
My son was born on the 6th, which was Tuesday.
No, it was Wednesday.
it,
You're right.
it was Wednesday. We went in on Tuesday, but he wasn't born until Wednesday. And then we came home on Thursday. So he's here. He's crazy cute, and I'm a dad now, which is wild.
How's the dog taking it? Sorry, she was just like running around and like rubbing her face on the floor.
She's handling it well.
Literally throwing a temper tantrum.
She's actually Jubilee's like obsessed with him. It's crazy. She just won't leave him alone, and not in a bad way. She's just both the dogs really. Like if he cries, they're both just like they get up and run over to him, and they're like licking his bald little head, and like it's so weird. But they're really cute about it.
Did all of his little hair fall out?
No, he's got some.
Oh,
He's got like a Charlie Brown thing going on. He's got some hair, but it's not a lot. And then I'm also building a guitar. That's what this is right here. It just came today. That's why it's not together at all. Not only am I going to build this guitar, but I am going to paint it, finish it, and do something really cool with it. Like I was going to do, or am still going to do with one of my acoustic guitars right here. And we'll show it on the podcast, and if it is something cool, I had talked about, you and I had talked about maybe I'll make you one for your birthday coming up, and
woo.
I don't know. Other than that, I mean, oh yes, the 22nd. I was like, I feel like there was one more thing. The 22nd, I am getting tattooed from like here, and here. Those of you who can't see that, it's like from like my neck down to my belly button and shoulder to shoulder. Chad will be coming with me because I don't think I'm going to be able to drive after.
Very fair.
So yeah, that's super exciting. How about you? How's your week been?
It was pretty cool. I mean, I got a trumpet, which is the first instrument I ever learned how to play, if we're not counting fourth grade recorders. But also at that same time, I was learning the trumpet. So it's been a long time. So I got a new one. Started playing it a little bit. It's frustrating because since I was in the fourth grade, I became a pack and a half, almost a 2-pack a day smoker for a while. Developed asthma, and now it's hard to play anything outside of just the middle C chromatic scale for me, which is a bummer because in freshman year of high school I was like first chair. Like I was pretty, like, not to brag, I suck at jazz music. Like I can't improv worth a damn, but I was a pretty good trumpet player. But I got that because I thought it'd be fun. Kind of forgot that my dog is a psychopath when I decided to get the trumpet because anytime I try and play it, she gets the zoomies and tries to jump and bite the trumpet. It's adorable and hilarious, but also annoying at the same time. And then I just played, a bunch of games. I got to play some video games this week, which is nice. I haven't really played for a couple of weeks. Played a board game that I absolutely love, but refused to play for a couple of years because it felt like it was inappropriate, because it's called Pandemic, and it's all about a global disease that you're trying to cure. And that just felt too soon.
Yeah.
But that was fun, and had a couple friends over this weekend. It was a good time.
Cool. It's exciting. You also became an uncle this weekend.
I did.
Not this weekend.
Last week, but yeah. I did. I haven't gotten a chance to meet him yet.
My kid. Yeah. Not yet. We did family first, so we wanted our parents to meet him first, and then he had a doctor's appointment today, so we didn't do any visits today. But you will be coming over this week and meeting him. So
yeah, I'm excited.
Exciting.
He's already my best friend. I think literally the first or second picture that you sent of him to me, I was like, sorry, he's my best friend now.
Yeah. Yeah. He's knows like you have to fight me for it.
And then I reminded you that you can teach him at a young age that he can have more than one best friend.
Yeah, but then there's like the best friend. Yeah. Yeah, he's so cute. I'm excited for you to meet him. It's gonna be crazy. This whole journey is already crazy. But tell us about Buy Me a Coffee.
Yeah, if our listeners like what we're doing here and want to support us, the easiest way to do that is go to buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. It's a way to give on a monthly basis, but there's different tiers, everything from $1 up to $75 a month. Each one is tiered, so you get a little bit more with the more that you give. Everything from... Give it back.
Still.
Oh, I forgot to write that one down for my honorable mentions.
I love you, man.
Yeah. But everything from member-exclusive merch to an opportunity to be on the show, getting a shout-out and stuff like that. I guess we can give a special shout-out to Steven Dyceland, who is one of our top-tier givers. But we also talk about him regularly because I hang out with him regularly. He was over this past weekend. But again, that's buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd.
Also, a special shout out to Steven and sorry, hold on, let me rephrase that. Steven. Steven and
he's saving my phone that way.
With the... I know, that's why I say it that way.
It's Steven with a PH, but it's PHTEVN. Sorry.
Steven and his fiance, Shalon, are getting married next weekend, so huzzah.
I will be there. I will be the one officiating. I'm excited.
Yay. That is amazing because I won't say anything bad about it just because I don't want Shalon to hear. But this is hilarious for me, and I wish I could be there because her sister
is my ex-wife.
Is your ex-wife, and you're officiating their wedding. That is such a giant FU. I am so sad that I'm going to miss it.
They asked me so many times, are you sure you're okay with it? And I was like, you guys are some of my closest friends. Yeah. Yes. I'm not going to start shit with your ex-wife. Like, yeah. Or your ex-wife with my ex-wife, your sister. I'm not going to, like, do that. But I just think it's funny that...
Yeah. Jerry.
One of the main reasons why they asked me to officiate instead of being a groomsman is because they were like, it'd be super awkward to make you walk down the aisle with her.
That would be so fucking funny.
That's what I said, because before we started walking down, I'd be like, fancy meeting you here again. Because, like, that'd be fucking funny. And they're like, that's exactly why we didn't want that to happen.
Or you could have been like, that's what you wore?
Oh, that'd be a little too mean.
It's your sister's wedding, for Christ's sake.
Uh,
Anyways,
but yeah, shout out to them.
that's
They're big
yeah.
supporters of the show, and I
Yeah,
can't wait for them to hear this and just laugh at us. And
but no, seriously, congratulations, you two. We love you. Can't wait. I wish I could be there. But the next time I see them, I will party hard with them. Faux show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we want to give a shout out over to Marty at Digicat Tech, who is working hard on building us a new website. Somehow I missed a message from him from a few days ago, so that when he sees this, he'll know that I didn't intentionally ignore him. But yeah, building us a new website and helping us grow. It's super exciting. And if anyone here is in the need of some web design or marketing strategies, reach out to Marty. We haven't even implemented the things that he wants to do yet because we want to do like a solid launch with the new site. And I'm already blown away at his plan.
And if you need like a reference, like when our new site goes up, and we'll let everybody know, like you'll be able to see what he's done for us, and then be hi. It'll be kind of like a resume. Did you see that? She was like right there.
No,
she's like
the post
right
for my
behind
camera
chair.
is right there.
I don't know what she's doing. Get out of the garbage. But yeah. Jesus, I'm so sorry.
Also, in the news, still, the SAG and Writers Guild strike continues. And what's hilarious is now it's starting to really affect the studios. They're starting to complain. And it's like, you know how to fix this. What's cool, like A24 and some other like indie studios are still producing stuff, writing and filming and are in production because they agreed to the terms of what the union wants. So the union's like, okay, people can work for you now. Like, we'll allow them to do that because you're agreeing to what we're asking. So it could be a blessing in disguise. Granted, we might lose or get delayed on a lot of stuff that we're looking forward to, but we might see a huge resurgence in great indie films because the indie film companies are willing to meet those requests and demands.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is it's a nerdy thing. If you're, like, whatever. Anyways, the Minnesota Vikings had their first game yesterday. They also had their first loss yesterday. But in their defense, it was a close game. It wasn't like a shutout or anything.
They lost by 6?
No, it was
3?
less than, they lost by a field goal. They were tied up and then they lost by a field goal. But it was sad. It hurt, but it was the first game of the season, and
it was just funny because when the Vikings are playing, we text, and the Vikings didn't do much the first quarter, and you're like, the Vikings suck, and then they explode in the second quarter, and you're like, I told you the Vikings were awesome, and then it went into the third quarter, and they maintained a lead. And you're like, oh, the Vikings got this. And then the fourth quarter happened, and you're like, we're going to lose. They're in danger.
Oh, yeah.
It perfectly encapsulated what it's like to be a Minnesota sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
In 4 texts.
Yeah. It's a bummer sometimes, but gotta be faithful.
Yeah, it's the start of the season.
Yeah. It was one game.
Also, their O-line was struggling because their starting center went out, was it for his back? I think it was. And I mean, even still, after the first quarter, they adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
So the O line was a little bit stronger and things like that. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It was so fun. I'm so excited that football season is back.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. If you tell us where you guys are from, or you friends are from, sorry. And what team you root for. We want to know.
Better not be the Jets.
Because that's where Aaron Rodgers went.
And they call themselves the New York Jets, and they play in New Jersey. It's like people that live just across the river being like, yeah, I live practically in New York. And it's like, but you live in Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to be New York. Your parents don't love you.
Aw. The
That
guy
would.
over there, he's just a guy in a suit.
Uh, Also, well, I think that this is. It has weird connections to it, but Danny Masterson, who played Hyde most famously in that '70s show, was sentenced to 30 years in prison for
30
being.
to 30 to life in
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah, opportunity for parole after 30 years.
Hmm.
For being a piece of shit, and rightfully so.
Yeah. He's a raper. He's a rapist. He's a
Yeah.
rapper. I mean, rapist.
Ra-
Rapist.
um, and rightfully so. That's not the negative to it. The bummer is that it also came out that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis wrote like character testimonies on his behalf,
Hmm.
which is super fucked up, especially because Ashton Kutcher is like on the board of directors for like a software tracking company that helps track down and save
Sex traffic.
sex
Like,
trafficked
yeah.
children and
Yeah.
women and individuals.
And it was like, but this guy's my friend. It's different.
Yeah, and that was super shitty.
Yeah.
Like, did not enjoy that one bit.
Yeah.
Um,
That's why the ranch sucked.
yeah. Also, like, you can argue that they wrote those letters before, like, it went to trial, but still, like, why even try and like you do
Defend.
this?
Why would
you do this
even
great
defend
work?
him?
Why even like try and attach yourself to this because of someone that you used
Yeah.
to hang out with?
Yeah. I have genuine love for you. You're one of my best friends.
Yeah,
If you raped somebody, not only would I never talk to you again, I would possibly beat the shit out of you.
I would expect nothing less. And same, like
So,
done.
so that's like wild that him and Mila Kunis were like, well, sex trafficking is
Everyone
bad,
except for Topher Grace from the main cast,
Yeah.
like of the kids. I
Yeah.
don't think that I don't know their real names, but I don't think Red or Kitty did anything about it, or even some of the other staff.
Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp.
I should have known Deborah Jo Rupp. But like, why? But then Topher Grace and his wife put out like an official statement being like, we know that this was triggering for a lot of people, not even those connected to this case. Anyone that is a survivor of things like this, like, we believe you, we hear you,
Yeah.
we see you, we love you.
It also kind of paints a different picture of when that show was happening. Everybody was like kind of saying that Topher was like kind of a dick on set because he didn't want to like hang out with those people. Like they would all go out for beers and stuff, and he like never like went with them. And like maybe there was a reason.
Yeah. Also, like, I do really like Mila Kunis, but also, like, she was 14 when that show was airing.
Well, she lied about her age. That's not necessarily.
Yeah, but then for like the cast to go out and like drink and party together, and Topher's like, "Hey, I'm 18. I'm not gonna be a part of like hanging out with like this underage girl that's being heavily sexualized." And
They didn't know she was underage.
I think they found out within the first season
Nice. I
after
didn't
they
know that.
offered the role. It doesn't matter. This got very sad. Let's talk about some nerd news.
It is weird, yeah.
Before
But
we
anyway, yeah.
before we do that, if you're a predator, go fuck yourself.
Hmm.
Okay, we
Yeah.
we don't support that.
No.
That's it.
Oh, I was like, did you leave me open for something? I didn't. It's like we didn't rehearse this. What was I supposed to say?
No. Let's talk about some like nerd rumors and stuff like that.
Yeah. This is a very loose. There's a couple things tied to Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four. One of them is that Jake Gyllenhaal is now being potentially eyed for the role of Mr. Fantastic, which doesn't make sense because he played Mysterio in the same timeline as all of this.
It
But
sucks because I would love that casting
yeah.
had he not already appeared as. Yeah, she's just circling.
I think my headphones are on, so I can't hear. I'm assuming Nicole's changing the baby up there. And
Oh,
when that
so
baby
he's
starts
screaming.
crying, she just flips the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming.
Yeah, but because of the rumors that Jake Gyllenhaal is now potentially being eyed for it, which I hope isn't the case, even though I would love that casting. They
Here's
just
the thing
can't
is that
do it now.
they could though. They could because they've done the multiverse.
Then
They've already done it. They could.
then that means
And
that the entire Fantastic Four has to have gotten brought here from a different dimension.
I mean, and they kind of have already said that a little bit. Have they not? That
Well,
they disappeared during the not that they got blipped away, but that they were in space when the blip happened and nobody knows where the fuck they are. They said that in uh help me out here. Monica Rambeau,
it was in WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they could do it if they wanted to. I don't think it would be necessarily smart as much as I love Jake Gyllenhaal, and I would love Jake Gyllenhaal in that role because something about Jake Gyllenhaal that I'm just gonna say it real quick. That dude throws himself into a role, like
Dude,
body transformation,
Nightcrawler,
like yeah,
like
holy shit,
being
yeah,
able to portray like a sociopath,
yeah.
which
He's
let's
I
be honest, Reed Richards is a sociopath.
uh, but also we have a rumor that John Krasinski will reprise his role as a variant again of Reed Richards in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
These are just rumors. We're not backing any of this. These are just things that we hear and read, and we want to push to you guys so that when it does happen, we can be like, we said that.
Also, in that same breath, because we were talking about Matt Smith at one point in time being eyed for the role, I guess because of the strike, it kind of overshadowed the fact that he declined.
Yeah.
Which
Which is kind of a bummer.
I love Matt Smith too. I would love that. One that I'm really excited for, again, this is a rumor, of Daniel Radcliffe being cast as an undisclosed role in Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
I hope that this is a Wolverine variant. More so, I hope that he is our Wolverine.
I think it is safe and fair to say that Hugh Jackman is not gonna be our Wolverine going forward.
I don't
This
think it's
is
feasible.
this is a very much fun kind of last see you later kind of a role for Hugh Jackman, which is awesome, and I'm so excited for it. But it also gives us the opportunity because we know that this movie Deadpool 3 is going to be exploring the multiverse.
Hmm.
this gives us a chance to witness who our new Wolverine could be.
Yeah.
And there is a huge fan casting for Daniel Radcliffe to be Wolverine, even before he got super jacked recently for his are you looking it up?
Yes, I am what it's
Thank you.
called.
Is a TV show where he's in. It's not Bad Omens, but it's
Miracle Workers.
Miracle Workers. Yes, he plays like an angel, I think, that works for God, and then God quits.
Is that what it
Basically,
is? I just
yeah,
know
it's
that
like
like each season explores like different timelines, but he's
yeah. So
him and like a
there,
couple other people are like consistent through each.
I've never watched it, and I should, and I will, but basically, it's I from what I understand about it is that God is kind of an idiot, and he's like one of God's like advisors.
Yeah, two low-level
Yeah,
agents have to convince God to save humanity because he's trying to kill. He's just
yeah,
gonna destroy Earth because he's
yeah,
over it.
yeah. And in this newest season or whatever that there is coming out or is already out, Daniel Radcliffe got like super like jacked,
Jacked. Yeah.
jacked. He looks like Wolverine. He's got the hair. He's got the. I mean, he's not short, short, but he's shorter than
Oh, the
Hugh
new season's been
Jackman.
running for a few weeks.
I haven't watched any of it. How many seasons are there?
Four.
Ooh, I
The
think
fourth
this is the
season
last
came
one
out
too.
on
So,
in middle of July.
but yeah, so it'd be cool to get a confirmation. We know that in the Captain America New World Order is the new title, right? Or no,
Brave New World.
Brave New World. Sorry. Um, that
Still manifest destiny of them to call it that, but
the X-Men will be referenced, or at least mutants will be referenced. We know that in Miss Marvel, the mutants X-Men were kind of referenced. Like,
well, Kamala
we're
Khan is technically a mutant.
and they subtly played the like when they called her a mutant. So like it's happening. It's just very slowly happening. This would be a really cool way to plug our new Wolverine.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. It could also just be a dumb cameo, and they could be like, fans wanted this. Here you go."
Like
Like they
John
did with John
Krasinski
Krasinski.
in
Exactly.
Multiverse of
Yeah.
Madness, yeah.
Yeah. We don't know, but
I'm
very nice.
I would love to see him as Wolverine.
Yeah, I think he would do great. I love Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
That might be just my Harry. No, it's not just my Harry Potter thing because I've seen him in a lot of shit. I won't go into it because it'll take another 10, 15 minutes to talk about all the movies that aren't Harry Potter that I love him in. Horns. Yeah.
Guns
But
Akimbo is fucking hilarious.
there are a lot. And I do love him as an actor, and I would love to see him in this role. Please,
Yeah.
please, please, please.
Also, I mean, this is just more like actors in the nerd world with some of their life. I mean, we did skip over one,
Yeah,
but that's okay.
yeah. It wasn't that.
It's funny just for us. Well,
Yeah.
funny in general, but
It was like a 3-inch huge thing.
yeah. Okay, you went that far. We were supposed to get a toy Spider-Man in Across the Spider-Verse that would be moved around by a human hand.
Yeah,
It
would have
just
been
would have been
awesome.
funny, just somewhere in the background, kind of like the fucking Spider-Man popsicle that was in the background.
Yeah.
But Timothy Chalamet, we're super excited for Dune Part 2. He's been blowing up over the past couple of years. I guess it's official that he's dating Kylie Jenner, which is a little sad. I mean, Kylie's a beautiful woman, but like Timothy seems awesome. Like I feel
But
like
the thing is,
I think it's
like,
because Zendaya's taken. Let's be honest.
if you have enough money, like anyone could be a beautiful woman.
that's also fair.
I don't want to. I don't mean that in like any other way other than Kylie Jenner did not look like that years ago.
Yeah.
Now that she put some money into herself with plastic surgery,
Yeah.
she looks like that. And even whatever, I won't go there. But it's a little bit of the Kardashian slash Jenners are just taking some of my people, and I don't like it. I loved Timothy Chalamet, Shim, whatever the fuck you pronounce his name. But Travis Barker, like,
At least he got the most sane sibling. Well,
yeah,
sister.
it's just wild. It's
Yeah.
wild. It's weird, weird and wild. Hi, Jubes.
Also, Chris Evans got
He's
married.
married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a secret wedding, but what was cool about it, Jake?
Well, the original six, um, Avengers were all in attendance. What was negative about it, Chad?
So this hurts because so Chris Evans and Alba Baptista got married. She's a Portuguese
Portuguese.
pronounced Portuguese in their own language. Portuguese actress who was in The Warrior Nun, which was a show that I watched, didn't fully hate. The second season was much to be desired compared to the first season. That's besides the point. She's beautiful, but they're like 16 years apart, which is kind of weird. Granted, she is mid pushing upper 20s, so like it's not like she's 18.
She's like 23,
26
or something like that. 26.
So
Chris Evans is 42.
Yeah. So like she is a full-on adult, but just that age gap just always feels weird, especially with celebrities.
I feel like it's because it's celebrities that it's not that. It's probably not that. Not that weird. They're technically they're consenting adults. Yeah, they're consenting adults. Whatever. Happy for them, but a little less happy knowing that.
Because like well, first off, I don't think
I was weirded out.
You're barely old enough to date someone 16 years younger than you that's of age. I am not old enough to, like, 16 years younger than me would be a 17-year-old.
See,
like, that's
Nicole's
just
5
weird.
years younger than me. And I, like, thought about it when we started dating. I was like, is that weird? I feel like that's kind of weird. 16 years?
But also, when you guys started dating, you were both,
adults, yeah.
30s, close to 30s.
I was. She was
28, 29.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm not bashing
It's just like when you think of someone 16 years younger than you, it's like,
yeah.
How much do you have in common?
Yeah.
But if they're also working in the same industry, I mean, that does create commonality, and they're adults.
Again, I'm not bashing it in any way.
It's just weird to comprehend and like wrap my head around, because if I thought of someone that much younger than me, like, man, that's weird.
That would, for me, 16 years younger than me would be, I'm 36. So
it'd be a 20-year-old.
Yeah. That's weird.
Like, couldn't
Can't even legally
go
drink.
to the bar. Yeah.
That's wild. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, happy for you guys.
Yeah, they're beautiful people. And I know that Chris Evans has said that he wants to settle down and have a family, and they'll make beautiful babies, I'm sure, if they do that. But
yeah, they're both gorgeous people. And I love Chris Evans. I actually really do. He's a Democrat. He is like very outspoken about it. He has that.
He has
what's the name of that app?
What's the name of the app? I don't remember, but I know that it's a non-profit that it doesn't even just like put out like Democratic resources. It just puts out resources for new voters.
Well, he has an app where you can go on there, and if you, because if, God, I gotta, I'm gonna look it
Mm,
up. But he has an
I'm
app
working on it. You talk.
where
You talk about it. I'll pull it up.
it's where if a lot of people don't understand politics, and this app will like explain it to you. It'll like you can go on there and ask questions. There's videos, and they explain like like why Republicans do this or why Democrats do this and why it is the way it is. Um, because I think that especially for young people like that are just coming of age to the age like 18 to vote, like right out of high school, they don't know like why you should vote one way or the other. You know what I mean? And this app like helps explain that. I think it's pretty cool. Did you find it yet?
It's called a starting point.
Yeah, yes.
ASP.
Yeah. Oh, I follow Chris Evans on Instagram, so I hope nobody thinks that I dislike Chris Evans. I just think the age gap is weird, but I don't actually give a shit as long as they're both adults and consenting, whatever.
And
Um,
it's not
I
like they've been together for the past 8 years to where it
yeah,
makes it
yeah,
more skeevy.
yeah.
But
Uh, but yeah, we spent a lot of time on that.
yeah, way more
That
than we planned on. But uh, let's get into our first sponsor. It's kind of our quarterly seasonal sponsor going on right now with Nordic Brew Pub. They are locally based in Minnesota, in Monticello, Minnesota, of all
Mhm.
places. They've got great food, tons of great beer, and we've partnered with them. We're currently not drinking because Jake also had a baby this past week, so we haven't gotten a chance to go and pick up some more beer to drink on camera for you all. But they have everything from like fruity wheat beers to traditional IPAs. They have a
seltzers.
pilsner,
Yeah.
house made seltzer, everything like that. We've also, the owner Zach over there is super cool. But we've partnered with them to where if you're in the area and you can go check them out and show that you follow us on Instagram or are subscribed to like YouTube or something like that, your first beer is on us. It's a great way to show local love to them as well as share your support for us. But yeah, so if you head over there, the first beer is free and it's on us. Um, and we're working with them, so if you are local, we might be doing some sort of like nerd trivia night where we'll be giving away some free drinks there as well as like our merch and things like that. So we'll
Yeah.
keep you posted on that, but they are sponsored through the end of this month of September.
Okay, friends, we are going to talk about Ahsoka episode 4, right? Season 1. Um, well, Chad and I disagree slightly on this, but this show's hot trash. Uh,
I agree
what
with
happened?
some of your complaints about it, but I'm loving the show.
Yeah, I'm not. Oh
But
yeah, it just
that's
says wing it. I was like, oh, what's my talking point? Oh,
says
I'm
wing
just.
it, then let Jake bitch.
Okay, so my complaint so far, what one of my biggest complaints so far is that the fight coordination is lazy. The acting is not great, which is a bummer because I love Ray Stevenson. This is his last performance. I love Rosario Dawson,
I think
and
Ray
it's
Stevenson is probably given the best performance.
yeah, in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Not
I
of
was
his
like, not in his
career.
career.
God, no.
I was like, no, 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 no. It's just the fight sequences are so what's that? I'm trying to think of a word you use just to make you mad. Lackluster.
I do love using that word.
I know you do.
I
It
think
bums
I
me out.
agreed while using that term when we talked about it earlier this week.
It's so boring. The fight scenes are so boring. There's since the first episode, I to Nicole and I complained about that the characters kept locking sabers or swords. For sake of argument, I'm gonna say swords, but uh they kept locking swords and just like fucking intensely staring at each other. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, it's dumb, but everybody does it in a movie, sword fight, whatever. I get it. Uh, but they kept doing it, and I was like, whoa, okay, again, really in the same fight? Okay, that's dumb. It got so we're on episode 4 now, so I'm jumping ahead to episode 4. This has got so ridiculous through the show in 4 episodes, only 4 episodes of the show, that in the last episode, I decided to count. I was like, I want to see how many times they fucking do this dumb bullshit in just one episode. And in this episode 4, in a 3 to 5 minute fight scene between Ahsoka and Ray Stevenson's character, what's his name?
Balin Skull.
Balin Skull. 5 fucking times. 5 fucking times between the two of them.
It's like every 30 seconds.
That they locked sabers and just fucking stared at each other, and it was like, Jesus fucking Christ. And that's not including the fight scene between Sabine and the other bitch. And they did it too. Those two fights were happening at the same time, and that was half the fight, was them locking sabers and staring at each other. And I was like, this is so lazy. I'm so sorry. Everything so far up to, me. I have been singing praises about Star Wars and the shows and everything up until now. This is the laziest shit I have seen in a long fucking time, and it pisses me off so bad.
It feels with the fight the fight.
39 29.
Thank you. With the fight choreography, it seems, and this is really disappointing to me as well, because in the animated series, Ahsoka is a fucking beast. And also, she doesn't use her second saber a lot in this show. And that was like what set her apart in the animated shows. And just how, like, and I know that it's supposed to be like a little bit of an older version, but like from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi only spans like 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as I'm saying this out loud, my athletic ability has dropped significantly over the past 10 years. Let's be honest. But it just seems I like contradicted myself just by admitting that. But like the choreography seems much more original trilogy. You know, where it's like simple fighting, maybe a saber spin here, a lot of locking, you know.
Mm.
But that's because that's what the technology at that time could do. But then you look back at like Revenge of the Sith with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. They're fucking whipping them, like even behind the scenes stuff of them training. So much of their actual combat when they're not like being CGI'd to climbing a falling tower or flipping over lava, but when
like
it's
that
just
move that move that Hayden Christensen does, the like, like behind his back.
Yeah,
that's like a real thing that Hayden Christensen learned.
Yeah,
That's not like a CGI thing. Like he actually does that. It's like, this is lazy. It's lazy. You agree with me?
I do. The rest of the show, however, I disagree. I'm loving it.
Okay, McDonald's.
You did this last week.
Or do you go like this?
No, it's like Disney Channel, but you don't do the third loop. Also,
it's so bad.
My entire theory about who Marok was wrong. It wasn't Merrick. It wasn't Sam Witwer at all. He was a walking fart. Lit- Literally, Ahsoka cuts him down as he's falling. He goes, and like green gas explodes out of him. Now, in the animated series, we see the Night Sisters reanimate a dead body, and it has that green smoke around them. It was Darth Maul's brother, I believe. And then when he dies a second time, like the green smoke, like out of him. So at least that's still canon in continuity. Like this was just like a reanimated corpse. That's probably why he was wearing a mask the entire time. It didn't matter who it was. It was just frustrating to be that wrong and to have that disappointing of a death to where he gets cut and then just quite.
I mean, I've been trying to tell you, the show's stupid.
I refuse to admit it because of how much I love Rebels.
You're like, oh, I love this and I love that, but then like this sucks and this sucks and this sucks. Like, dude, you're agreeing with me. You're just...
I know, but I'm holding on to little pieces of hope. And to quote Rogue One, that's what rebellions are based on, is hope.
You are only hope.
Ooh, I also watched Fanboys. I didn't put that in my...
I did too.
You
watched it after because I
was like, oh, I do love that movie.
Did you guys watch it? You guys must have watched it Saturday night then.
I watched it Sunday right after football.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I watched.
I thought you watched it. Wait, did they stay the night? No, they didn't stay the night Sunday. So you watched it.
They did.
Yes.
Oh, they stayed Saturday night and left Sunday morning.
Into Sunday. Okay,
yeah.
So you watched it after football.
Yeah.
I thought you guys would have watched that together, maybe.
How do I put this nicely? I just don't think that they're as big of fans as it's led on to be.
Oh.
Steven has read a ton of the books, but none of those are canon really anymore, so like whatever.
I forgot how many cameos there are in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Seth Rogen playing 3 different characters is fucking hilarious.
Wait, who was the third? I know the Trekkie and then the pimp. Who was the third one?
The guy in the Klingon makeup that when they say like here for Scruffy Nerf Herder, he grabs them and pulls them back.
That was Seth Rogen. Oh, yeah. That's funny. I didn't realize that. That's hilarious. The two big William Shatner and Carrie Fisher.
And Billy D. Williams. The judge? Lando Calrissian?
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Jesus. I even pointed that out to Nicole and I was like, "Oh, that's Lando." And she was like, "Who?" And I mean, forgive her. I'm turning her nerdy. She didn't start that way. And I was like, "You saw him?" And I like looked it up and I was like, "This guy." And she's like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "Okay, you don't know who I'm talking about, but I appreciate the over the top. Oh yeah."
I just love that when they're getting wheeled out of. We're not even talking about Ahsoka anymore.
Sorry,
I
think we were pretty much done, weren't we?
Until the world between worlds.
Oh shit! Yeah, no. Let's get back on track.
Okay.
Look at.
First off, Ray Stevenson is hands down probably the greatest character in this show. I mean, I'm loving Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka personality wise, and she just looks the part, but the fighting style of Ahsoka is lacking. However, before Ahsoka and Baylan Skoll start their fight, and even throughout their fight, you'll see them like change grips and positions, and then them just like changing off of each other was really cool because it just shows how skilled they're supposed to be, but then the fight doesn't reflect how skilled they are, which is a bummer. But Ahsoka gets yeeted off of a cliffside, Sabine doesn't destroy the waypoint, surrenders herself because she really wants to find Ezra. We all saw it coming, which is a bummer because Sabine is clearly in love with Ezra, but the last message that he left her was like, "You're like a sister to me," and she's like, "I'll change that." Unless they're like Luke and Leia. Sorry. Actually, I'm not.
I was actually going to say something worse. I will not say it on here. I'll tell you after. But,
Okay.
yeah.
But Ahsoka gets thrown off this cliff into the ocean. But when we see Ahsoka next, she wakes up and she is in the world between worlds, which is something new to anyone who hasn't watched any of the animated series, especially Rebels.
She's basically on the Bifrost.
Kind of. Yeah. It's like a convergent point between... She's in the space-time continuum, is what it really is. But we see her face, and then we hear, "Hey, Snips," which is what Anakin used to call her. So she turns around, and we get Hayden Christensen as Anakin. He's been de-aged, which kind of bums me out, because realistically, he's the appropriate age to just, like, look like himself.
Yeah, I was like, he doesn't, and, like, he doesn't even look that old.
No.
Like, you don't even
in
really
real
need
life.
to do that to him, yeah.
And I think that the only thing why they did that was on the theory of when Anakin dies and becomes Darth Vader, that's how he last saw himself. So, like, that's what his Force ghost would look like.
Gets wet. Yeah.
But then he says, "I didn't think I would see you so soon." So. And then that's where the episode ends. So, I don't know. I'm excited for the rest of the season. I know Jake is holding on.
I'm watching it. I'm doing my homework. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
When Nicole's like, "Where are you going?" It, like, early in the morning or whatever, that I'm gonna go do it because now I'm home for ever. Only 2 weeks. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna go do my homework. Or, like, on Saturdays before I had a baby, I would still wake up early in the morning to make sure I was doing my job. I don't want to say where I work or whatever, but and that's when I would watch Warrior and The Adventures of Superman and Lois, like My Adventures of Superman and Lois, sorry. I was like, all right, gotta go do my homework.
You still mix two shows together by saying that, but...
Yeah. But, yeah, so it is my homework, and I vow to watch everything nerdy for the sake of this podcast. Whether I like it or dislike it is not my fault.
That's fair.
This is a dislike. Strong dislike.
For the most part, I'm still liking it, but I do agree some of your qualms.
I am holding out hope that it's going to get better. I want this to get better. I do. I want to like this show. I don't want to talk shit about this show all the way through. I hope the next 4 episodes are fucking amazing, and I'm like, thank God. I hope next Sunday when we record, I'm like, holy shit, that was a bomb episode. I just haven't had that yet.
Okay, so there is supposed to be 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So we're halfway through. There's time. Stop. Tell them about our second sponsor, you bully.
Sponsor? I'm not a bully. I'm just a realist. The show sucks. Sponsor number 2. I was making fun of myself. My own voice cracked.
Oh, I thought mine did, because mine has cracked a couple of times during this.
I did it. I was making fun of myself. So, apologize.
Sorry.
Okay. Sponsor number 2 is Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on practically anything. Listen up. We'll talk and tell you more about it. Hi.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, Our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. All right, friends. Now we are going to continue and I think finish our conversation on the live-action One Piece on Netflix.
Not that we didn't enjoy it, because we enjoyed the shit out of it. It's just,
but it was 8 episodes. We talked about the first 3 last week, and we
just binge watched
finished it.
Yeah.
So, if that's any indication, this show is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Just for whatever, but yeah.
I mean, we talked about it last week, but the casting is spot on.
We started, one of my honorable mentions this week is the anime of this, and the casting is insanely spot on. It's wild.
I've only watched the first episode of the anime because when I finished the live action, I was like, that wasn't enough. But the energy didn't quite match from the finale of the live action to the first episode of the anime, and I was like, I can't do this right now. And then I started watching other stuff, but it's on my list to continue watching.
One of the cool things about the show in general is that I'm on like episode 6 or 7 of the anime, and we're only just now meeting Usopp. So the Netflix live action series is the first, it's literally the first season of the 15 season.
It seems like
anime.
Every 2 or 3 episodes lines up to one live action.
So there is a ton of material to go off of. Source material. Do you understand, Netflix? Get with it.
Yeah.
The Witcher. Sorry.
That's just dumb show writers.
Yeah. Anyways, it is so fucking good. Luffy is crazy. I was watching the cartoon, and man, he is confrontational and crazy and funny. His look is at all times in the cartoon.
Always super wide-eyed.
Yeah. The live action though, it's so fun, man. What do we even say about it? I feel like we said a lot of it.
So only because I knew how close the live action was adapting the anime, I wasn't it doesn't bum me out to see clips of the anime that lines up to what we saw live action.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where Nami is just breaking down, cursing Arlong, and stabbing her pirate tattoo to try and fuck it up, basically, was so perfectly done while just tweaking small things just to fit the timing of the live action, that it made me appreciate it so much more. Both scenes, live action and anime, are fucking heartbreaking. And it just, this is what a live action adaptation of any sort of source material should be.
And this is what it does. This is what it looks like. Okay, so as of a couple of years ago, Stranger Things was king shit on Netflix,
and that was after knocking season 4 part 2, knocking Squid Games out of the highest viewed.
Then the show Wednesday with Jenna Ortega was so popular that it knocked Stranger Things down. And they were like, okay, well, this show's obviously successful, blah, 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 blah. This show, One Piece, is higher rated and doing better than Wednesday. I mean, that is if
that was after its first week.
so if you're like questioning to yourself, like, do I want to watch the show? You fucking do. If you're listening to this podcast and you're questioning yourself on whether you should watch the show or not, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither of us watched the anime prior to the live action, and it is so good that we've both decided to start watching the anime. You're several episodes ahead of me, and you're still like, this was the right choice.
The characters are insanely, I mean, the casting of these characters is so insanely spot on. It is, dare I say, insane.
Only if it's like in the membrane.
Times. It's so good, dude. I can't literally not even like the main characters. Like there are like side characters that are not even that big of a part of the show, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, they nailed it. Every single person, like, I mean, good for the show. I fucking can't wait. They said that with the strike going on right now, they're reluctant to start writing season 2.
Well, they can't start writing it.
But
I thought season 2 was mostly written, but they can't start production on it.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know. Hopefully that's
and stuff like that.
I hope that's what I didn't read that, but I hope that is true because I want more of this now. Well, I'm watching the cartoon right now and I'm like, this is good.
I mean, the budget per episode rivals some of the highest budgeted.
Isn't it like 18 million per episode or something like that?
Yeah, which is the average Game of Thrones episode was 15 million. So, the average Game of Thrones episode cost less to do than what this does. I think a lot of it's probably because of like location, and then also like when they're on the ship and like the Bratier, which is a floating pirate restaurant. You know, in order to do stuff like that, build out these incredible sets
the
of
sea monsters and
yeah,
it's fucking crazy. Fuck, what was I gonna say? God damn it, lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You talk. It'll come back to me.
Just the amount that they've already invested in one season, and the fact that it's their highest viewed. We are going to get multiple seasons of this.
It would be the dumbest thing in the world. But then again, here to put some doubt in people's minds. They are not doing any more seasons of Mindhunter. And Netflix fans were like, give us more. We love this show. And Netflix was like, nah.
Or Cowboy Bebop, which is another very famous anime. I never watched Cowboy Bebop anime either. I just didn't grow up watching a lot of anime. Let's just put that out there. But I started watching the show, the live action version of it with John Cho. And is it John Cho or Ken Cho? It is John Cho.
John Cho.
I was right the first time. And then
Hulu.
Yeah. Harold.
Haroldy.
Roldy. And like that show was fun, but I wasn't like hooked like I was. You even said, and I agreed with you, the first 15 minutes of the first episode was better than the first 3 episodes of Ahsoka.
4 now. Yeah, but yeah.
And Well, when we talked about it, thank you for
No,
that.
I still stand by it. That
It was so good. Like, I was hooked immediately.
yeah.
Like, it's such a great show. If you haven't watched it, just fucking do it. You're
If
doing
you
a disservice not to if you like not even anime, just good television,
yeah.
good nerdy content with an incredible fan base that has a bunch of source material that you can build off of for years.
Years. I can't. Yeah, I can't wait for the more of the show. I thought there was 10 episodes, and when it ended, I was like, no.
I was quite bummed.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, whatever. Man, this lighting does make me look like a Simpsons character, doesn't it?
Little green, a little yellow,
Who you con
a
yellow?
little
City
jaundiced.
Slick.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Anyways, tell them that joke you know.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot more to say because we don't want to give away too much of it. But we, for fans of the anime, we haven't met the full crew yet. You know, we've got Nami, Usopp, Zoro, and Sanji. And, of course, Luffy, but that's the captain. We see him immediately. So there's so much more to come. I'm so excited about this. I want so much more. Bless you. Gross.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched it yet, check it out. We tried hard not to give too many spoilers. This is just chef's kiss. It's an incredible show.
Yeah.
Do you have any last words before we close out, Jake?
Mm-mm.
Cool.
I think you said it all, brother.
All right.
All right, brother. But before we close out, we are going to talk about our honorable mentions. Chad, what do you have? Other than HPV?
You know what? 1 out of 5. uh, so, I... Thanks.
Love you. I love you.
I know.
Despite your
Hang on.
disadvantage.
Hey now. I'm not going to continue with the way I wanted to go with that because that person did just pass away, but they're also a piece of shit, so we're not going to give them credit.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So because I had watched the Burton and Schumacher Batmans, you said that you started watching, or you watched like Batman Begins, and I was like, I haven't watched those ones in a while, so I did watch the Nolan trilogy. I rewatched a lot of stuff, like the Nolan trilogy. Rewatched Fanboys. I rewatched I Love You Man. But for new stuff that I watched, I've been meaning to watch it for a long time, and then I just had the time and saw something about it online. I watched Blonde with Ana de Armas, the Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, yeah.
That movie fucked me up. It is so sad and heartbreaking.
Yeah.
To the point where I could only... This is going to sound super skeevy. I'm not going to phrase it this way. You do get to see the beautiful Ana de Armas without clothes quite a bit in it.
I mean, other than before she like blew up in Hollywood, every movie she was in, she was naked. So
that's fair. But this movie was... It was a bit weird just because she doesn't have a very convincing like American accent. But she played the fuck out of that role. Man, like incredible acting. Plus, like,
Does she gain weight for that role?
not a ton. I'm,
That's dumb
I mean,
because
Marilyn
Marilyn
Monroe
Monroe
wasn't
was
that big,
no, but she was like
curvy.
curvy in like a really good way.
Yeah,
Marilyn Monroe was famously like
beautiful with
well and
good hips.
yeah, curvaceous.
Yeah,
And
I
no
mean
offense
that's where
to
the
on a
hourglass like
no.
ideal came from. Really was Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
This movie really focused more like on her demons and not what she actually did for like women in the industry. But this movie was incredible, much more sad than I expected it to be. I knew that it like dealt with a lot of her like depression and
Mm.
tragedy, but that's like what this movie is centered on. And so that fucked me up. So then after I was done watching that, I was like, I need to watch something else because I don't want to go to bed this sad. So then I started watching Bodyguard on Netflix with Richard Madden. Um, it went to left field very quickly, a lot faster than I like. It is not what I expected it to be at all. So there's
I haven't
that.
watched any of it, so I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's good so far. Don't get me wrong. It's very like dramatic, intense, but it's not what I expected at all, especially based from like the trailer for it. He's basically a ex special forces military that now works in protective services for the British government and works for the head secretary.
Mm. How do you get that job? Just kidding.
Like I said, left field, my guy. But it's really good. What about you? What have you been watching?
Um, well, as I mentioned earlier, I started watching the anime of One Piece. So we don't really need to go into that. Um, the two really big ones. Nicole has never seen American History X. Um,
That's a hard
American Hit.
watch, also.
It is American History X is the movie that made you know this about me that Edward Norton is one of my favorite actors of all time. This is the movie that made him one of my favorite actors of all time. Uh, this movie, it is, like you said, it's a hard watch. It is brutal, it's racist, it's whatever, but the heart of the movie is really, really good. If you haven't seen this, spoiler alert, but just a brief synopsis is this guy, Edward Norton, he's a Nazi and he kills some black people and he goes to prison and he befriends a black person in prison and then when he gets released from prison he realizes that his younger brother is following in his footsteps and he's trying to get him out of it. And holy fucking balls, dude, this movie, I love this movie. I It's one of those movies that I kind of space out because I don't want to wear myself out on it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do watch it every few years, I'm always blown away by it. It's so good. Um, have you seen it?
Yeah, it's probably been like 8 or 9 years since I last saw it, but yeah.
God, it's they make he's the villain in the movie for the like first half of the movie, and then he's the hero of the movie at the same time. It's so wild because like what they do is they do it's in the movie's in color, but there are parts of it that are flashbacks that are in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's in black and white, it's when he's a Nazi, and then when it's in color, he is out of prison and trying to like fix his family, get his brother out of this Nazi group, blah blah blah. Um, and so like bounces back and forth of him being uh, the hero of the story and also the villain of the same story. And I think it is the one of the best performances I've ever seen in my entire life. Edward Norton, hands down, one of the best actors
I
ever.
love when actor or not actors, but like directors and filmmakers use like aspect ratios or black and white versus color to show different viewpoints. I mean, we saw it
Yeah.
in Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
The black and white is a much more objective, where
Yep.
when it's in color, it's like Oppenheimer's perspective. Um, Blonde did it. Like when it's in black and white, because like half the movie's in black and white. That's when she's like in the Marilyn Monroe persona, and when it's in
Mm-hmm.
color, she's herself. She's Norma Jean.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love when directors and filmmakers take use of that because it creates that like understanding that it's different perspectives, different
Mm-hmm.
times. Like you can use it however you want,
No.
but then it allows for non-linear storytelling, which is just
Yeah.
so fascinating.
Yeah. Because he, I mean, even like there are parts of the movie, the black and white parts of American History X, where Nicole had to like look away from the movie because she was like, no, I don't want to like, and other parts like when they're like pouring milk on the black. There's like an African American lady working at a convenience store, and they're like pouring milk on her face, and they're like, "Yeah, bitch, like, no, white looks good on you." Like
Yeah.
it's like, and they do such a good job in this movie of like you hate Derek's character. His name is Derek. Edward Norton's name is
Yeah.
Derek in the movie. You fucking hate him. You're like, fuck this dude. Like, I would fucking kill this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you hate him. And then they make him likable. At
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, like you're watching the black and white and the color stories are running at the same time in the movie. Like you see one scene black and white, the other scene color, black and white color. So you're like, fuck this dude. And then they make him likable and you're like, holy shit, like this is it's amazing. It's an amazing movie. Sorry, I didn't mean to get carried away with it, but it's one of my favorite movies. It's the movie that made Edward Norton one of my favorite actors of all time. Edward Norton, John Cusack, and Robert Downey Jr. are my favorite actors of all time. Not in that order, but and that was the movie that made Edward Norton one of my favorite actors. And I forced Nicole to watch it, and I'm glad I did because I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
My other honorable mention, which I was very surprised by, was the Boogeyman, the new Boogeyman movie. Because there was an old shitty one with um that dude from Seventh Heaven, forget his name. Uh, it was terrible, but they made a new one. Um, and it was I was kind of I wanted to watch it, and we watched it, and there was like a hesitation on my part because I was like, this is gonna probably not be that good. But it creeped the fucking shit out of me, and I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I feel like it didn't get enough appreciation for how creepy it was because there wasn't gore. There wasn't like jump scares. It was just legitimately creepy. Like there are just parts when we went to bed, Nicole took the dogs and our kid upstairs, Cal, upstairs, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna, go to the bathroom, shut the lights off, do my end of the night shot that I do with you
Mm-hmm.
usually most nights. Uh and as I'm like shutting lights off, I was like, this is kind of creepy. And for a movie to do that to me, because I'm a huge horror fan, um, and a horror fan,
I was gonna say he
uh,
loves horrors.
um, it's impressive. and I thought this movie did a really, really good job of uh not doing shock value or jump scares, but just legitimately being creepy. If you haven't seen it, please, if you're a horror fan, horror fan, check it out because I want to know what you think about it because I thought it was genuinely scary, and I haven't seen a genuinely scary movie in a really long time. Even Evil Dead Rise, I didn't think was scary. The first one, Evil Dead, I thought was terrifying. Evil Dead Rise was all shock value. It was all gore and
It had some creepy moments, but it wasn't like overly creepy. I agree that the first one of the remake in this series was way more terrifying.
yeah. But this movie, The Boogeyman, the 2022 or 2023 version, it did a really good job of not being, there was like not barely any blood in it. Like, and that's amazing to me that you can make like a really good scary movie with not showing much blood. And also not doing like, because like people will like watch like a movie like The Conjuring or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, and that movie is like, it's not like scary, but it's like, ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, that was so scary. But it, like when you leave it, you're like, it really wasn't that scary of a movie. It just made me jump a couple times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this was, I shut the lights off and I was like, I'm a little creeped out. That's a that's a scary movie.
Yeah.
And this movie, surprisingly, because I did not think it was gonna be that good of a movie, surprised the shit out of me. So check it out if you like that kind of shit. Whatever. Or don't. Whatever.
I won't.
Those are my honorable mentions. I'm sorry. I
Uh,
blew up. Sorry, I blew up.
no, you're fine. On those notes, if you like what we're doing and you want to support the podcast, we mentioned it earlier, but the best way to do that is to go to buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd and do what, Jake?
Sorry, what?
Go to
Give us your
buymeacoffee.com.
money.
Yeah. Give
Sorry,
us your money.
I was like
Mid
thinking
sip.
about my apology to like, I was like, sorry, I like ran that over, but like that's why we do what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
We get
We're
passionate about this kind of
genuine
stuff.
fans.
Yeah.
And for people that are also genuine fans and enjoy the show, give us your money. That'd be sweet. Um, through buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd, you give on a monthly basis. You get some perks. Depending on how much you give, those perks grow and don't just show. Um, sorry, Mom. But you get like member exclusive merch, behind the scenes, group chats with us, an opportunity to be on the show or get priority with live streams and questions and stuff like that. All that's there. If you don't want to give it on a monthly basis, we get it. We think it's lame, but we get it. You can just go to www.allthingsnerdpodcast.com and pick something up from our merch store, which will be revamped in the near future because now we are printing our own merch, which will just
Literally,
help
yes.
with turnaround time. We'll have actual limited runs of certain things. No more drop shipping. No more waiting like 2 weeks, 3 weeks
Yeah.
for stuff to show up at your door. It's just going to be a lot better for everyone.
You said
And
it. I was you literally said it all. I was
oh,
like gonna interrupt you, but then you just like rolled with it, and I was like, nope, never mind.
oh,
That's what I was gonna say. So we're good.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. We like we like converted part of my basement into
Yeah,
like
like
a
our
thing to like
printing shop.
make. Yeah, so like uh it'll be easier to get shit.
Yeah,
So
and we'll have
that-
actual like limited run stuff and everything like that, which is pretty sweet. Um, and then if you don't want to give us any money, I mean, again, we both get it. But yeah, thank you, Jake. It is lame, but we understand. You know, life is expensive. So just like, share, subscribe, tell people about the show, give us 5-star ratings. You know, where you listen to the podcast. It sounds like we're just begging for ratings, but it helps us get further out there. And even though it might be annoying to do so, it's very little effort and it is super helpful, and we would appreciate it. Or just, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, all those things. Other than that, we love you. And this has been the All Things Nerd Podcast.